Hello, dear students. Today we are going to learn about the nomenclature, which is the last topic of the lesson diversity in living organisms. Nomenclature, actually, it is the system of giving scientific names to organisms. The system of giving scientific names to organisms is called nomenclature. What is nomenclature? Nomenclature is the system of giving scientific names to organisms, to living organisms. And what is the need? Why it is necessary that we should give scientific names? Because these scientific names can be used to identify the living organism anywhere in the world. For example, if we see that there are different many languages in world, many languages in world, and in each language for a particular living organism there are different names. For example, sparrow in Kashmiri we call a different thing, in Ladakhi we call a different thing, in Punjabi we call a different thing, in Hindi we call a different thing, in Chinese they call the sparrow a different thing. But the living organism is same. That means many languages in the world can give many names to a single living organism. And this is the problem, that how do we study the same organism having different names in different regions. Therefore, the need arises that each living organism should be given a single name which should be accepted throughout the world, so that the space for confusion would be very less in order to study about the particular living organism. That is why the nomenclature got its existence. Therefore, the scientific names can be used to identify. These scientific names can be used to recognize, to identify the living organisms anywhere in the world. That means the scientific names are followed throughout the world. Their scientific names, they are followed. These scientific names are followed throughout the world. Followed throughout the world. Next is, each organism is given these scientific names. Actually there are two parts. Each organism is given two names. Every living organism has two names. The first name is genus name. The first part of the name is genus name, and the second name is species name. For example, I will go to example. Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens. This is the scientific name of humans. Scientific name of humans. This Homo sapiens, the first, they are having two names. The first name, this one, the first part of the name, it is known as generic name, or you can say genus name. And the second name, this one, it is known as species name. Species name, and it is known as genus name. That means every scientific name have two parts, at least two parts. First part is known as genus name, and the second part is known as species name. And such system of nomenclature is known as binomial nomenclature. What is binomial nomenclature? Is the system of giving two names to individuals. Here are two names. There are two names, genus name and species name. That means the nomenclature which give two names to individuals is known as binomial nomenclature. This binomial nomenclature was introduced by Carolus Linnaeus in 1750, in 1751 or 50s, you can say 50s. Carolus Linnaeus, he was a taxonomist. Taxonomist. Taxonomy is the branch of science or philosophy deals with the classification of organisms. Taxonomy. Father of taxonomy is also known as Linnaeus. Linnaeus is also known as the father of taxonomy because he was the first person to classify the plants into different groups. Taxonomy is the branch of science which deals with the classification of living organisms. This was the binomial nomenclature, and there are certain rules to write the scientific names, and these rules are, or you can say conventions, rules of writing scientific names. And what are these rules? There are many rules, but at your level you can remember only 3-4 rules. Number one, first rule is that the name of the genus begins with a capital letter. Here I wrote Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens. According to rule, the name of the genus begins with capital letter. That means it is the genus name. It is the genus name. According to rule, I have to write the capital letter first. H. The H should be capital. It should not be small. If you write the small h, then the whole name would be wrong. Then we have to write the capital letter first. H. The name of the genus begins with a capital letter. Any capital letter. Next is the name of the species begins with a small letter. Then if I write the species name with a capital letter again, no. But we have to write the species name with a small letter. That means sapiens. S-A-P. S must be start, or the species name must start with small letter. It's the rule. If you write the capital letter, then the whole name would be wrong. Next is, when printed, the scientific name is given in italics. If you have to print the scientific name on the computer, there you have to print that scientific name in italics. There is the option. You can write in italics also. Always you will see in your books all the scientific names in your books are written in italics. This is the style of writing italics. Next is fourth rule. When written by hand, if we have to write the scientific name by hand, genus name and the species name have to be underlined separately. That means I have to underline the name. Homo sapiens. Homo underline separate and sapiens underline separate. This is the correct style of writing the scientific names. I have to underline the species or genus name different separately and species name separately. This is that means having starting with the capital letter genus name and starting with the small letter species name. When handwritten, then we have to underline the names differently. We cannot underline these singly, but we have to underline them different, or you can say separately, like this. This is the actual style of writing the correct names. Sometimes you will see, for example, Mangifera indica. This is the scientific name of mango. Some time you see like Lin. Actually it is the name of the person who gave the first name to that organism. That means it is Linnaeus. Linnaeus gave the name Mangifera indica. That is why here Lin occurs. That is sometimes some species have same generic name and species name. For example, cobra having scientific name Naja. Those species which are having same generic and specific names, these are known as tyronyms. Thank you. Have a nice